Let's move on and take a look at the switch control. The Uiswitch is probably the simplest control we have of all the controls that iOS provides. And the switch is basically a Boolean indicator. It's also an entry control. So it simply gives us a yes, no, true, false kind of answer. It's the rough equivalent of a checkbox in other operating systems. So we'll put one onto our storyboard. And once again, we'll use a label to monitor it. And there's not a lot we can do with the switch in terms of formatting, but we can of course set its initial state. We'll set it to off. And then we have the two tints. We have the on tint. And if I set this to on, you can see the blue instead of the standard green. And the thumb tint. You can also use images for these as well. And when we took a look at the image control, you'll see how to create an image and add one to a project. So let's hook up our connections. We'll get the label first. And then the switch, much like the slider, has a value changed. And we'd like to pass the Uiswitch as the parameter type. So anytime the user flips the switch, we're going to get this event. And we would just like to update our label text to reflect the status of the switch. And I didn't want to do that as a format statement, excuse me. The switch has a very simple property. Called on. And if it's on, we'll set our text equal to yes. Otherwise, we'll set our text equal to no. That's pretty basic Boolean stuff. And here's our switch. And when we flip it on, we get a yes. And when we flip it off, we get a no. And that's all we really need to know about the switch. So it's your basic Boolean true-false control. It's not too tricky to work with, but of course you'll use it all the time.